All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. This is the NinjaFox Games and Geekery podcast for September 6th, 2015.
Sorry, September 6th. Holy crap.
Yeah. You want me to tell you how many Fridays until Christmas?
Yes, I totally do.
It's like 12.
Is Christmas on a Friday this year?
Don't think so, no. It is
Well,
on. Oh, yes, it is actually. Yes, it is. It is on a Friday. So, yeah, there are 12
so
Fridays, something like 12 Fridays. I don't know, somewhere around there.
like eight Saturdays until Halloween, more importantly. So
So, all right, well. You want to start off with talking about some movie news and movie
yeah,
discussions
yeah,
today?
for sure.
All right.
Let's see where to start. Big news with Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kevin, is it Feige?
I
Feige?
believe it is. I think it's
Feige.
Feig.
Okay. Anyway, kind of gone his own way with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's been given control of um,
Marvel
the
Studios.
finances and Marvel Studios pretty much as a whole. Um, so that's interesting. I First thing I thought was, how is he gonna?
Well, and to clarify, he's as far as being over Marvel Studios, that technically hasn't changed.
Right,
He was to begin with. What's really changed is he's now reporting directly to Disney rather than reporting to a committee at Marvel.
right.
Because Marvel Entertainment was the one that he was reporting to. So
Yeah, and apparently they had some serious issues with the. I was reading about, and we talked about the finances over the new Captain America film, the budget, I should say.
yeah,
I'm sure that he was
apparently
probably on the spend more side of that. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, apparently the guy that he was reporting, or one of the guys on the committee, one of the head guys at Marvel Entertainment, Ike Perlmutter.
Mhm.
I've read articles before. Apparently he is extremely like pinch the pennies and very hardball. That's one of the reasons that Marvel's been very aggressive at keeping actors' contracts very cheap.
How
Robert
just
Downey Jr.
how
is the
long's he
only one
been?
that banks.
How long's he been with Marvel? Is the question.
Feig or Perlmutter?
Perlmutter.
Apparently he is one of the. He's been there since Marvel Studios first existed, like before being Marvel Studios standalone.
Hmm.
I think he's been part of Marvel for decades upon decades upon decades.
Hmm. Let's see. I'm just looking here. I'm verifying that. Was a member of the board of directors since 1993 and chairman of the board until 95. It looks like. Before that, he was with Remington. He was the VP. But still, like 95, comics were starting to kind of come into their own at that point. I mean, there were some really bad storylines, and there were some really good storylines too, but they were still nowhere near as big as they are now. So I have to wonder, like, sure, he's penny pinching, but he also remembers when they really needed to be more penny pinching than they do now. They've got a lot more money now because of the movies and everything that came out
Mm-hmm.
since then. So maybe it's just one of those things that he hasn't really caught up with it. And or the other the other side of that is he might see something that other people don't, and meaning that he's like, this isn't going to last forever, guys. We need to kind of prepare for the future, that kind of thing too. This is total speculation on my part.
Yeah, I think there could be a disconnect in there as well, in that uh, being frugal and being careful with the money and all that sort of stuff works fine, and that's probably smart for. Uh-oh. Can you
Uh-oh.
can you still hear me?
Yeah,
All right, I may disappear because apparently I think Mozilla just crashed on me. So
I think you just did disappear. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I'll go ahead and carry on a little bit. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I was reading over this article. I thought it was interesting to find that Feig almost abandoned Marvel Cinematic Universe. And personally, I have to wonder how much of that might just be being dramatic, that kind of thing. I mean, it is Hollywood, and people say that they're going to quit all the time, and they're just overly dramatic with things. So I wonder if that might have something to do with it, at least. Because the amount of money that they're talking about that is well within the millions, I'm sure. So let me see. Sorry, guys, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties for those of you that are listening live or that are listening via satellite. No, who are listening to this later. I apologize. Jeff has actually been kicked out, and we're trying to get him back online to the chat and to the podcast. So stand by while I try to figure that out. I'm not seeing an option to bring him back online with us, so we're going to do our best to move forward. It says, and I'm just kind of reading about, I was also reading about Perlman as well. He apparently doesn't want to be a part of Disney, although he's made a ton of money as Marvel's CEO with the acquisition of, with the acquisition of Marvel into Disney. Oh, I think I hear you.
Yay!
Yay! I was totally muttering about God knows what. I apologize.
I figured out how to get back in. So what I was saying, Perlmutter might have the right idea. His intention of keeping costs low is probably smart even today for Marvel Entertainment for the comic book side.
Mm-hmm.
But Feig may understand that he's not really in the comic book business anymore. He is in the I have infinite funds from Disney business.
Right.
And which makes sense why they've stepped in and said, okay, we're going to reorganize this, and Feig is going to report directly to one of the guys at Disney, which makes sense because Disney's, I mean, truthfully, they're the ones that are funding all these movies.
Right. At the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, granted, all of it goes into them, but it's interesting that it's not just Perlmutter. There was a committee with others, including Brian Michael Bendis, who will no longer be giving input so much on the films.
Okay.
And a lot of the films have been largely influenced by the Ultimate Universe, which Brian Michael Bendis is largely responsible for creating.
Right.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some. That's kind of what I was afraid of. Well, not that specific thing, but one of my concerns was, how I know that the cinematic universe and the comic book universe have been kind of considered separate, but they still kind of followed along the same lines to some extent with each other. Like there was still kind of a connection there, I feel like.
Not really, other than the movies draw on concepts from the comics. And sometimes there's a few tweaks made for the comics to be more similar to the movie universe, just because if you saw that in the film and you're coming to pick up the comics, we just want you to come and be able to slide right in.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're continuing to have the disconnect of, people went and saw sexy Thor with his shirt off in the movies, and then they go pick up a comic and Thor's a woman.
That is a little bit disturbing.
That's kind of a wait, what? Then if you've really been following Marvel Cinematic Universe and you're following this Thor thing and you work your way through it, then on top of that you're reading through it going, Natalie Portman is Thor now?
Yeah. So it all gets crazy. That's the fun thing about comics. You never know what's coming next. And with the movies too, I suppose.
And I will continue to not know what's coming next because I've pretty much abandoned my interest in the comics. The Secret War stuff, like what's coming after Secret War, none of it actually interests me. I'll pick up 2 titles briefly to see if they pick up and actually grab my attention, but just off the premises, I'm just kind of like, yeah, no, not interested anymore.
I had read, I don't remember where the article was, it's been a while back, but I had read the Secret War stuff itself, that's going on, isn't terrible.
Some of it's really cool.
But what's going to happen after is anybody's guess.
If Secret War was one of those things where at the end of it, everything's going to be put back to normal and there'll be a few holdovers, it would be pretty cool. But it's more of every single alternate reality that's ever been taken we're going to take pieces of it, and that's going to be what we're going to use now going forward. So like they're gonna continue to leave Wolverine dead from the 616 standard continuity, but now they're gonna put Old Man Logan in his place in the ongoing continuity. So now you've got basically like uh, gray hair, old man Logan is now the standard for the
The
Marvel
Wolverine,
universe.
yeah.
Well, no, he's not the Wolverine. He's just Old Man Logan. Wolverine has now been taken over. The title has been taken over by Lara X-23, who is Wolverine's clone from the main continuity, which works okay for me. That's actually one of the one titles I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I've seen something that suggested Thor might be getting his powers back with a hammer, but they're not getting rid of female Thor either. So there's going to be, I guess, both at the same time, maybe.
You have balls?
Yeah. So I don't entirely understand that. From the Old Man Logan continuity, they're bringing in the old blind Hawkeye, and he's training a female Hawkeye now for a younger one. Normal continuity, Cliff was killed in Secret War. Spoiler. And trying to think of some other examples. There's other, like the main X-Men. I don't know what's going on with them, because part of it is with Secret War. Technically they could probably kill people, and then afterwards, at the end of it, somehow still put them back in.
It's like comic book them back in.
Yeah, but like Cyclops with the Phoenix Force, he's dead, and there's been nothing to indicate that he's going to be in the new continuity ongoing from now on, except for the younger versions of the X-Men, like the original team.
Yeah,
they're being kept in the ongoing continuity. Spider-Man is going to be in the ongoing continuity, but Miles Morales will be the Avengers Spider-Man. Peter will be running his business and being more of a globe-hopping superhero character now.
I could see that being interesting. I mean, he's gone to some different places over the years, but he mainly sticks to New York City.
Yeah, the only thing is I'm a little nervous about them getting away from him seeming like Peter Parker and seeming more like Bruce Wayne Spider-Man.
Gotcha. What kind of business is he running?
He started his own Parker Industries, so it's like a technology business, and now he's the CEO, so how is he not Bruce Wayne? Just with spider powers instead of
or Tony Stark, or name your superhero.
So I don't know. They have I think they are keeping MJ and him married. I don't know if they're keeping their daughter from Secret War or not. We'll see how that plays out. I kind of suspect they probably will.
Yeah.
So even that, I'm just kind of like, it's like an entirely different universe. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Because even then, like, the Spider-Man that's married, that's a different continuity than the 616 Spider-Man. So technically it's an alternate reality Spider-Man that's being kept as the main Peter Parker now, too.
Yeah.
Either that or it's like they went back in time, or it's basically it's an alternate reality version of Peter. Miles is the new main Spider-Man. He'll have his own title, plus he'll be in Avengers. Miss Marvel's going to continue on because she's been crazy popular.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other specifics off the top of my head, but overall, I mean, it's just I'm like, I just don't really feel any care anymore. I'll probably still follow it, kind of keep up with what's going on, just kind of by word of mouth. And if there's story arcs that are like really, really good, I may pick up graphic novels going forward. But I think the individual monthly comics I'm done finally.
Yeah.
With the exception of Turtles, IDW's TMNT is still the best book on the shelf every month.
But that's not Marvel, though, is it?
No,
I didn't think so. I was to say that's not Marvel. That was like Archie back in the day.
It's IDW. So, IDW. To me, that book trumps anything that Disney, DC, or Marvel puts out.
Really, I'll have to just borrow from you or something sometime. Just check it out because you keep saying that it's really, really good.
Yeah,
sometime when we actually see each other face to face again.
That's right.
So that's once every 6-8 months, something like that.
Yeah, seems like it. So Do you want to
Sorry.
go over this? You want to go over this top 5 bombs that you had?
Yes, let's do that. Yeah, do that. Let's do that. Okay, so top 5
Continuing with movie
summer
news.
biggest box office flops of summer 2015, which I don't think it's actually officially autumn yet. I don't know when that officially starts, but summer box office season is school summer is June through August. I think that's fair. So this is top 5 from IGN. Just going from the top of the list that they have here. Number 1 was Tomorrowland. With a budget of $190 million. Global gross was 208.4, so they're expected to lose 120 to 150 million. We had kind of talked about this a little bit. I was not all that interested in watching it after I saw, and you said the same thing after watching an extended trailer. It just didn't really seem as exciting as the teaser that I originally saw.
Yep.
Just seemed kind of campy almost in a way.
Yeah, I think part of the thing for a lot of movies now as well, though, it's kind of become one of those things that you see it and you're like, oh, that looks kind of interesting, but do I really want to shell out the money for a theater? I could just watch it when it's on Netflix.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's having more and more of an impact, even more than the old days of Blockbuster and Redbox. I think that just the idea of, well, I've already got Netflix anyway, and it's going to be on there, so I'll just wait.
Yeah. Is it though? Because there was a big change at Netflix here recently too. They're no longer with what was the name? The company. It's a company that included like Lionsgate Films, which was the Hunger Games series, is Lionsgate Films. Let me see if I can find it because.
Well, Tomorrowland is, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it? Yeah, Tomorrowland is a Walt Disney Pictures production, so I can guarantee that will be on Netflix because Disney has their foot in the door with this little thing called Marvel Studios.
Yeah, that's true. There have been more Disney films showing up in there, which they're still really weird about the Disney, was it Classics films or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, where they're just like, oh, it comes out once every 50 million years and you can only get it for like 6 weeks.
Back into the vault.
That's right, back into the vault.
Which it's kind of one of those things of like, guys, does this vault thing really do you any good anymore? Because at this point, all that really means is, okay, well, it went back in the vault, so now I'm just going to buy it for like $20 from someone used rather than $20 from you new. So you could print more and like keep it out there and people will buy it, or you could put it back in the vault and we'll just go to secondhand sources and buy it anyway. There are a few exceptions. A friend of mine has wanted Lion King for a long time, and that one is freaking like $50 to get a hold of it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, I can't find it, but yeah, Netflix, like I said, they had a contract with the company, and that contract ended, and they decided not to extend it because they said they're going to focus more on original content, which is kind of concerning to me.
The company said that, or Netflix?
Epix is the name of the company. No, Netflix said that.
Oh, because they've got their series that they've been doing, and then they've got the deal. They did Daredevil with Marvel. They've done Orange is the New Black, Arrested Development. I can't think of any others off the top of my head.
Yeah. Was it Orange is the New Black? They got that. I don't know if it's still going. That like werewolfy teenage drama. I can't remember.
Hemlock Grove.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and then
about 30 minutes of that, and I'm like, nope, I'm done.
They've got a new one, like something about a Mexican drug lord. Or something.
I think I saw that. I don't know if I'm gonna watch that or not. It shows up under different, like, since you liked this. Yeah. I'm like, okay, is it a drama? Is it a comedy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Netflix, you're confusing me. I think they're just throwing as much at me as they can now, just so that I forget that they broke up with Epix. Apparently, Epix is a joint venture of MGM, Lionsgate Entertainment, and Viacom's Paramount. So pretty big names in the movie industry.
Hmm.
Let's see. I'm just looking at the article here. The list of some of the movies that they lost would be The Hunger Games, like I said, World War Z, and Transformers: Age of Extinction at the end of this month, end of September, actually.
Huh.
So
That is fairly big. It's kind of
it
surprising.
is, yeah, yeah. Here, I'll send you a link to that article.
Now, that IGN article, what did it say was the box office for Tomorrowland again?
Total gross was 146.7 million. So they made just over what they spent, which I can't say is the case for all of the movies on this list.
Huh.
I'll get to that.
So I pulled it up when I was
No, I'm
checking, but
sorry.
it was
Box office for Tomorrowland. Sorry, I was reading the wrong number. It was 208.4,
okay.
and the
Yeah,
budget was 190.
yeah. So I mean, that's kind of one of those things that always throws you is the box office made back the budget and they're going to take a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it goes back to what Kevin Smith has talked about before. He can make a movie for $50 million, and so if he made $75 million at the box office, then he just made $25 million.
But that's not how they see it.
But in reality, for a $50 million movie, he's got to make like $150 million just to break even because of all the money studios are going to dump into advertising.
Well, that's true.
And so it's like once the studios get a hold of it, as a filmmaker, you're screwed. And how
Right.
much money you have to make just to break even. So
You can hear my cat running around the background. She's very upset about Tomorrowland.
she wanted it to be good.
She had to run out of the room. She was crying a little bit.
She was
but-
really looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let's see. That was number
How did
one
they
on this
do?
list. Huh?
Oh, well, they got a 50% from critics and 53% from audiences. And I'm a little concerned. What actually concerns me the most about Tomorrowland is I don't want this to cause an impact, but it's two big movies in a row now that George Clooney has been in that has underperformed. And I know it shouldn't, but sometimes that'll impact an actor where they just kind of become one of those, let's not really do anything with them because they're not really doing much in the box office anymore. They're not a draw.
Let me see. Who's that make me think of? Cuba Gooding Jr. comes to mind.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yep. Well, and the one before Tomorrowland was Monuments Men, which I actually have on Blu-ray. I watched it in the theaters and then bought it on Blu-ray. Watched it just recently again. I still think it's a good movie. So I'm disappointed that it didn't do better than it did.
Well, the one right before that he did though was Gravity, and that one they were talking like possibly being one of the first sci-fi films to win an award with an Oscar, which it didn't, unfortunately. But there was a lot of buzz about that one. So
yeah, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, maybe he just needs to get a new agent, I'm thinking.
Well, the Monuments Men, he can't blame his agent because he was the director for that as well.
Okay, you're right.
But on that one, like I said, I liked that movie. I thought it was good.
I haven't seen it. I can't make a call. The preview that I saw of that, I was like, no, I'm good. I mean, Clooney has done historical films in the past that apparently Syriana was really good. I never saw it. Well, apparently that one was kind of long, so it went either way.
I saw Syriana in theaters, and not only did my dad fall asleep, I almost fell asleep.
Well, apparently it's an actually good film, even though it may be
very
a little bit dull.
it's
Kind of slow paced.
Very slow and
We're gonna go slow paced. That sounds better. And then what was it? Good Night and Good Luck was really, really good. I think he directed that, but I could be wrong. He wasn't in it. I know he's
right.
I don't want to say he directed it, but that one was really, really well done. So maybe he just needs to. I don't know. I can't speculate. Like I was saying when you weren't on there, Hollywood is a crazy land of crazy people. What I was saying was with Kevin Feige threatening to quit MCU over Civil War and the budget and stuff. I'm like, how much of that though is like Hollywood drama? Because there's nearly as much drama in Hollywood about to make the movies and with the directors and producers and all that as there is on screen. That's why you can go to a film about the drama in Hollywood, like Tropic Thunder, for example.
There's more drama in Hollywood than there is on the screen, almost as much as on the internet.
Right, exactly. Not quite there yet, though.
No, not quite.
So I gotta wonder how much of that was. It's like actors threatening to walk all the time if they don't get the $80 billion they think they should get for a role. I'm looking at you, Tony Stark.
Or because the ice in their room was partially melted.
Right, exactly. It's the same with directors and producers and stuff. That's how you get noticed, so that's how you get people to pay attention to you, is you throw a big hissy fit like a big baby girl. And
go back again to Kevin Smith's Superman story about reading the script to the producer while the producer lays on the couch.
Yep.
So
let's see. What was number?
What's next on the list there?
4. Hold on, I get back to that article. There we go. No big surprise to anybody involved. Fantastic Four. They budgeted
Fantastic.
Yeah. Budget 125 million, grossed 146.7, expected loss 80 to 100 million. So yeah.
And yet Fox's official stance is, "Oh, we're still committed to these characters in this property." Yeah, sure you are.
Yeah, good luck.
They're not going to poison X-Men now that it's gotten back on track, so you can forget an X-Men Fantastic Four crossover.
Right.
And they're not going to do a sequel in 2017, like they said.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, they've got it. They've got a 2017 sequel scheduled, like before the first one ever came out.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening.
I mean, no, probably not. They'll probably reboot it again, like Spider-Man.
Yeah, I still suspect. I still suspect and hope that they will give it back to Marvel, or they'll do a joint deal like Sony did with Marvel. Mm-hmm. Primarily because I suspect Marvel's going to use this as a strong leverage point of, you give us the Fantastic Four back if you ever want to even have a hope of doing your X-Men TV series. Mm-hmm. And Fox is really pushing, they want to do an X-Men TV series. So,
okay. Well, can they not, with their current commitment with Marvel, can they not do a television series?
Nope. Huh. They have to have Marvel's blessing and approval to do a TV series. They can only do movies.
Hollywood contracts are just as dramatic as the people that in Hollywood.
And confusing, because it's like, for X-Men, they can make the movies, they can't make TV shows, and they can't get any licensing, which is why when an X-Men movie comes out, there's no more is there ever a toy, no action figures, no statues, no T-shirts, none of it.
Yeah. That's craziness.
So, and I know Marvel wants Fantastic Four. Largely, they want the supporting characters. They want the ability to use Silver Surfer and Galactus and those sort of things.
Well, Galactus showed up at the end in the after credits scene in the second Fantastic Four film, wasn't
it? He was actually
showed up in something else too, didn't he?
No, he was the final villain of the second movie, but they used the Ultimate Universe Cloud version of him.
Oh yeah,
he's a cloud. What?
I could have sworn he showed up somewhere else too, but it could be.
He did show up in the post credits of one of the video games. You may be thinking of that.
Possibly.
I think it was one of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. I think it was the second second and last Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Oh, I've never played I played part of Ultimate Alliance, but never got really far into it. So,
I still think that Fantastic Four would be a perfect thing for Marvel to get back in control. And use it as basically the cornerstone for a Phase 3 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because after Infinity War is all wrapped up, it would make sense for them to basically have disbanded the Avengers or scattered the Avengers, and leave basically Reed Richards in the position to be working on some sort of cosmic defense sort of thing. And that would give you back into being able to do their original storyline of basically cosmic stuff being what causes their powers, and then go from there. Plus, you can have Reed in particular cameo in other films as kind of like a consultant for a lot of stuff, and you could name drop him in S.H.I.E.L.D. and things like that.
Well, he was in. Was it he? What storyline was I reading recently that he was a big part of? Oh, Onslaught. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot because it was his son that was.
Franklin.
Heavily involved. Yeah. That's right. I was like, wasn't he in a recent storyline like Civil War? And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh no, I had Marvel Unlimited. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was a little bit further back than that.
It was from the 90s.
Yeah.
It was Marvel's biggest "What the heck are you doing?" crossover.
Right.
You only need to buy every book we publish for the entire month for like 8 months straight.
Yeah, screw that. I
Yeah.
will look it up online. It is the 90s. It may
Mm.
take me about a week just to get the information downloaded on my computer, but I'll get it. Anyway,
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
it was a rough time.
All right, moving on. What's the next one?
This one doesn't surprise me because as soon as I saw the preview for this one, I had no desire whatsoever to see it. Pixels.
I still now kind of want to see it, actually.
It's too goofy. It's too Adam Sandler, and I don't know. It never did anything for me. I'm like, maybe for a second I might have been interested, and then
It makes me think of the Futurama episode. No,
yeah,
I
I
like
can respect that, but yeah, budgeted 88 million, global gross 86.4 million. Apparently, it's popular overseas, and they're still making money in like Japan and China on it. So
Japan was, and Japan is apparently Japan is interested but tepid about American movie releases. But Japan was apparently totally stoked about Pixels. They were really looking forward to it. I'm trying to see if I can find how much it's done there.
Expected loss 75 million, so not as bad as the first two, but still
Let's put it this way. Pixels has a higher critical rating, a higher audience rating, and a higher box office gross to budget than Fantastic Four. Sorry,
wow.
Fant Four Stick.
Fan Four Stick. I don't know. It just didn't really. It just seems too goofy. I don't know. It's weird to me. Anyway, did you find the numbers for Japan or no?
No, I don't see anything specific for Japan. Mexico, Brazil, Germany, Russia, South Korea. It earned 3.3 million its opening weekend, debuted third place behind Pixar's Inside Out and local film Northern Woodlawn.
It did really well here. I think the first week, maybe two that it was out, but
it grossed 4.8 million total in South Korea, I guess, as of whenever this was updated. It opened in the UK with 4.2, topping the box office.
Yeah, I think it topped here too. So when it
total earnings, its largest market outside the US and Canada are Mexico, Brazil, and Germany. It has 14 markets remaining, including Australia, Japan. It actually comes out this. This week in Japan.
Oh, okay. So Simon hadn't even opened yet. So maybe
they'll
pick up some of that 75 million.
Its box office could explode. I mean, Japan likes crazy, funny, quirky things. So
it's true. I've seen anime.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, YouTube Japan Panty Man. That'll throw you for a loop.
Okay, I will do that at some point. This may not be the best time to do that because I'll probably be laughing like a crazy person.
There could be about 6 minutes there of laughs and what the hell, what the hell.
That reminds me, and don't let me forget. There's a short series I've been watching on Crunchyroll. That it's one of those. It's one of the 5-minute series. I may have talked about it before. I don't know. I don't remember when we last recorded. It was psychosomatic comedy medicine or something like that. It is ridiculous, but it's actually kind of like a Japanese anime. What's the Japanese anime like PSA series? It's really weird.
Okay. Yeah, the
only psychosomatic comic medicine.
The only 5-minute one I watch is still Chi. Yeah. So
comical psychosomatic medicine. You should check it out. It's kind of funny, good information. It's it's actually valid information. And actually, I think beside the fact that it's kind of crazy and funny, what interests me about it is that it gives me a little bit of an insight into the ways that the Japanese and people in Japanese culture kind of view different types of mental illness and stuff, because that's actually what it's for. It's kind of a PSA to the Japanese public, trying to make it seem a little bit more understood and accepted to some extent. It's like, okay, well, if you've got this kind of stuff going on,
remove the stigma.
Exactly, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it gives you an idea, or because even in the United States and
we're
countries too, it's we're bad, but not as bad as we used to be. You have to admit. I mean, but So,
Yeah.
Anyway, check that one out. That one's fun.
All
A
right.
little bit of a tangent there. Panty Man made me think of that because there's at least 2 episodes that I've watched so far that were about like fetishes and weirdness. So, that's fun. And
All right. What's next on the list there?
this was one that I actually kind of wanted to see, and the reviews of it gave it a 7.6 on IMDb. I didn't look it up on Rotten Tomatoes. You can check it out. But The Man from U.N.C.L.E., based on a 1960s television series, kind of a Bondy. It's actually the U.S. and Russia are working together, like the U.S. and Russian spies or something like that. It looked like it might have been fun. Something different while I'm waiting for the next James Bond film, which I do want to talk about as well. With the news about there's Bond news that I would like to discuss. We'll get to that. What were your thoughts on that one?
I wasn't really that interested in it. It seemed too much like I guess when I saw the trailer, I was just kind of like, man, okay, Mission Impossible, James Bond, blah blah, whatever, same old, same old.
I guess that's one way to look at it.
It didn't strike me as like anything. Nothing about the trailer really strikes me as like standing out on its own.
Yeah, but you got to consider the time frame that it came out, and like I said, it's if you consider that, and you consider the source material, and it was a series about a Russian spy and an American spy or whatever working together. That's pretty kind of a big deal at the time that it came out. And if I remember correctly, it's set during that time. It's not like a reimagining in current, for now. So.
Yeah, but I mean, still, nothing about the trailer set it apart from any other generic spy movie. So I was just kind of like nothing about it got my attention.
I just saw this interesting from a historical perspective. Sorry about that. Anyway, I would have liked to see it. Let's see, their budget was 75 million ish. Global gross 72.1 million. So they didn't even make their budget. And then expected loss 80 million plus. So, let's see. And the last one on this list is Aloha. Sony Fox. I have no idea what this movie is.
I saw when you first shared it with me. I've never heard of this.
According to the little thing that pops up when I hover over the name, it says, celebrated military contractor returns to the site of his greatest career triumphs and reconnects with a long-ago love while unexpectedly falling for the hard-charging Air Force watchdog assigned to him. It sounds terrible.
That sounds vaguely familiar, as in I think I did see a preview for it when I was in a theater for something at one point.
I possibly did as well, and I blocked it out of my memory, and that may be why.
Yeah, I don't
just that description. I'm like, that doesn't sound like anything I'd remotely be interested in. But apparently, it had a budget of 37 million, which reading that, it didn't sound like it was an action film. So 37 million is pretty good money for a romantic comedy, maybe,
or semi-drama-ish thing.
Right. So the Global Growth. 26.2. I expect loss about 65. So that one flew completely under the radar for me. So meh.
In other movie news, Ron Perlman has talked about a few story points that were pitched to him for Hellboy 3.
Okay, that would be interesting to see. It's been a while since I've seen him in anything. I never watched. Was he used in Sons of Anarchy?
He's in Sons of Anarchy, and now he's on an Amazon original series called Hand of God.
Yeah, which is something that I actually read the description of, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. So his comments here to Empire was, I really feel as though I'm done with the character. So he's done with Hellboy. I don't have a burning desire to put that shit on again. But
I can imagine.
But we'll take a pause there. But he did put it on for a little boy for a Make-A-Wish. So
all right, well, that's a little different.
So he is willing to put it on under circumstances. But
anyway. But how much time did he spend actually in the makeup with that boy with Make-A-Wish versus how much time he'll have to spend in that makeup over however many months recording this damn movie? Like, that's big.
So he says, I don't have a desire to put that shit on again, But Guillermo told me that the resolve of the trilogy would look like in broad strokes, and it's such an amazing theatrical cinematic idea that I found it essential that we do it.
Mm.
We were designed to be a trilogy with a beginning, middle, and end. We've done 2/3. I feel that we're not really done until we finish it. So what's the big idea? Perlman says, holy shit, he's the beast of the apocalypse. He has to take down civilization. He has to. It's non-negotiable. That's the foundation for the story, and that's why it would be a shame if we don't do it. And then Hellboy 2 ended with Liz Sherman saying that she's pregnant with twins. And Perlman went on to say, I'll tell you this, the two twins, one would look like the mom, one would look like the dad. One of them is completely fucking corrupt. The other is angelic. So which one's which? Only Guillermo would make the fucked up looking one be the angel, so that adds to the saga.
Well, if you read the biblical descriptions of angels, then that actually kind of makes sense because they're all pretty screwed up looking. So
yeah,
like the wheel of eyes or whatever.
we prettied them up during the Renaissance. And
yeah,
we said we're gonna make pretty art and sculptures and stuff, and we're like, yeah, let's not make the most hideous thing that we can. Let's make them look more appealing.
Right.
So, any more movie news? Do we have anything else?
I have a few things. Let's see here. Well, James
I want to talk
Bond,
about James Bond.
I do. I can't help it.
Jimmy Bond.
Jimmy Bond.
How come no one calls him Jim?
I don't know. Because they don't want to get shot in the face with a Walther P3.
I told you not to call me Jim.
That's right. Don't call me Jim. Well, first, of course, the new film is coming out in November, and they released more information about the vehicle. Special edition has been revealed of the new Aston Martin. So that's kind of cool if you take a look at some of the pictures and stuff like that, which there have been pictures of it prior to this official Aston Martin thing. But, it's just kind of like side views and stuff like that. Plus, the special edition is actually like branded James Bond edition or whatever. So that's only about $250,000 each.
So you're gonna grab some change out of the back of your couch and go pick one up?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, the DB10, fantastic looking car. It's going to be a driven inspector. But that's actually not the big. To call it news, I mean, it was a news story, but it's not directly related to the film or anything.
Is this about the creator's comments?
It is, actually. I wanted to kind of Anthony Horwitz. It's actually not the creator. He's a writer.
Okay, yeah, one of the writers.
Yeah, one of the writers, because Ian Fleming died a long time ago, the creator of the series. So they've carried on the series with several different writers, actually. And the most recent one said that Idris Elba, who is a strong contender for the role, and just to give a little bit of background to people who don't know a whole lot about the James Bond series, or that might not know, which, there's like 3 people that don't. But for you 3 people, there have been rumors that have flown around for a while now that James Bond is actually just a code name, that's not actually the name of the character. And that's why they could have somebody like Daniel Craig be the first blonde guy playing James Bond versus all the other Bonds before that being dark, black-haired.
Or for that matter, James Bond going from being Scottish to British.
Right, exactly. So that's the ongoing theory. Nobody has ever really, I don't think, officially said that that's the case or it isn't the case. They just kind of are like, maybe. But
that sounds good to us.
Sounds good. Let's write that in.
Sounds good. Think what you will.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, I don't recall it saying that he was necessarily a certain race in the series. I don't recall. I was reading something about that. But Idris Elba, let me just give a little background.
Well, beyond that, if it's a code name, then anyone can.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Exactly right. Idris Elba was in the first 2 Thor films. He was in Pacific Rim, Prometheus.
He had an appearance in Avengers: Age of Ultron.
He did. His Heimdall, which I don't remember that character, but
he's the one that opens the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh, that's right. He opens the Rainbow Bridge. You're right. He's been in a few other things. I think he's won an award or 2 over the years. Don't quote me on that, but pretty well-known face in Hollywood. And so the guy that's currently writing James Bond books, to get back to that, said, and he was quoted that According to the rumor, or he said he thinks Idris Elba is, quote, too street. To continue with the quote here, it says, "For me, Idris Elba is a bit too rough to play the part. It's not a color issue. I think he is probably a bit too, quote, street for Bond. It's a question of being suave." Yeah. So I like how after the first sentence he said, "It's not a color issue." No, seriously. It just feels like no, guys, seriously, it's not because he's black. What am I saying? Why am I continuing to talk? Somebody shut me up, please.
I think what he was really trying to say is he's too swole.
That's right. That's right.
It honestly is kind of a shame that I guess Idris Elba's he's done television. He did
Luther.
called Luther.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame, and at the same time, I look at him, I'm kind of like, is he too old? Is he not too old? I don't know. But in some of the pictures I've seen of him, his arms and shoulders, I'm like, dude, maybe you should have been Luke Cage in the Marvel Netflix series, because
Yeah, but I mean,
you can get jacked.
Yeah, yeah. But you can also trim down too if you need to. But even if you do, like, Bond wears, tuxedos and things like that. Not all the time, but a lot of the times. You can slim it down. You can do things to make it look more slim. But honestly, I could totally see him in that role. He's well spoken, and he can act really, really well. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. It'd be different, but I think that different is good. We've learned that with Daniel Craig taking over the role in the last 3 Bond films, and now I guess this is his 4th upcoming. Is that right? Let's see: Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and so Spectre will be his 4th. It was different, and whenever he first went in the first film, Casino Royale, before it came out, people were throwing a fit because he was blonde, because everyone, like I said before, that had been had black hair. Mm-hmm. So it might be interesting to see it going in that direction, go a completely different direction with it. Which, of course, once that happens, then the rumors that it's just a code name are pretty much guaranteed to be. It's like, yes, no, that's totally what's happening. Especially since I'm God, I don't want to say this because this will sound terrible, but the new Moneypenny is also a woman of color, which is a first.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I will say I saw the suggestion, and I don't know. Bond is a definite big role. I mean, it's a franchise, obviously. So if you get signed on to it, you've probably got multiple ones. But the last time I saw a pitch before the Bond rumors started rolling about him, about Elba should play Bond, the role that I saw him pitch for was, so what if he's been Heimdall? He's got contacts and all that helmet on. No one's going to really notice that it's the same guy. He should play Blade. And I was like,
I could see that.
Yes.
I could see that. For sure. Well, he could do both. He could be Bond and Blade. Why not?
Well, it depends. Schedules.
Yeah, true. So, I don't know.
Schedules is the big part, really.
Honestly, though,
plus Blade should be a Netflix series.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It'd be pretty awesome. But the rumor there is that Wesley Snipes has said that he has met with Marvel a couple times for a role.
And, I think he was just looking for attention. It's like, no, totally, dude. People to talk to me.
It's been the buzz that's circling around is that he's met with him a couple times. The theory is they may be having him come back, and he may actually play Blade again. Because at the same time, they pulled the new Blade comic from release. They basically they had it lined up, I think, for October or November to release, and then they pulled it and they've pushed it back. And there's no answer of when it's coming out. But the new comic is basically it's a female Blade who is Blade's daughter, who's growing up in some little podunk nowhere, Ohio, when supernatural forces basically come track her down to kill her, and Blade shows up to save her. And then it turns out that Blade's your dad, and then she starts training to be a new vampire hunter. And so there's kind of some things of there's rumor that Wesley Snipes has met with him to talk about playing Blade. You've got an older Blade in the comics with a daughter that you decide to push back. Could it be that they want to release that comic closer to when they do something on a TV series or a movie with Blade? Maybe.
Sounds feasible, for sure.
It's definitely possible. I think it is kind of funny that we've got the the big push has been being made, and they're doing a lot more comics to get a more varied demographic. They've gotten a big push to get more female readers for comics, but at the same time, it kind of makes me chuckle that every single book is now we're taking an established character but putting a girl in the role now, and I'm just like, you think maybe you should create new characters to team up with old characters rather than just kind of Blade girl version?
Yeah, possibly.
I give Laura a pass for with Wolverine just because she's like a decade old character now. She's had time to grow into the role. But the ones where it's like, here's a new character, by the way, they're the new so and so, but a girl now. I'm like, that seems kind of lazy. That seems like you are relying on the name of a character to push a new character into the spotlight rather than taking the time and effort to do the difficult thing of creating a new character and developing them and making people care about them.
Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to do that, don't you know?
Well, it's easier to do this, and we've got Perlmutter breathing down our necks to sell books and do it quickly.
Yeah, true. Excuse me. But yeah, that would be interesting to see. New Blade, Idris Elba. Why is he? Yeah, he should be in more Marvel. He should move more anything, really.
Yeah,
I've seen him in, I really enjoyed him. So
I saw some disappointment that he got cast as Heimdall, and then that meant that they weren't going to have him as Black Panther because apparently people thought that would have been a better role.
I don't recall who's playing Black Panther, but
I probably could have told you if you hadn't just asked. Is it Chadwick something? Chadwick Boseman, I think. Yes, Chadwick Boseman is playing him.
I don't know who that is. It didn't really matter, I guess.
I think comparatively he's relatively new.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of, the thing that Marvel tends to do is, for the most part, a lot of their actors, I would argue that the most of their cast has been like, they're not major multi-millionaire blockbuster superstar actors.
Right.
Like Chris Evans wasn't exactly no name, but he wasn't exactly top tier either. Whenever he first signed on as Captain America.
Same thing with Robert Downey Jr. He had gone through the ringer at that point.
Yeah, so he was on a downswing.
Trying to build a new name, yeah.
So yeah, they've done pretty well at like getting people who are kind of lower tier, or I guess they've gotten mid-tier actors to play mid-tier characters and pushed both character and actor up to top of the A list.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
well, the guy that playing Black Panther, I guess, just looking at, he's been in a few things of which I've seen none. So he's in a James Brown and Jackie Robinson biopics, so, or biopics rather. I don't know. How's that pronounced? Guess it depends on which radio station you're listening to at the time.
That's right. I think it is biopic.
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
But
anything else? Movie news.
Let me see. What do we got? Well, the Captain America wants to stay.
Yeah,
Chris Evans said
he wants to extend his contract.
Past Age of Ultron, the second Age of Ultron film.
Yeah, he's interested in doing so, which kind of throws things up into the air.
Wars, sorry, not Age of Ultron, Infinity Wars.
Right. Kind of throws some questions into the air of what they plan to do, because there was some. I mean, we've got two alternative Captain America options now with both Winter Soldier and Falcon, because Falcon is still currently the Captain America in the comic. So I don't know if they want to go that route, or if they would say for the MCU keep Steve Rogers. I think on some level it's kind of, to me it's kind of like some of these characters are iconic, and I know someone else could take up the banner, but at the same time it's like, yeah, okay, but you can put someone else under the cowl, but freaking Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Here's the thing, though, too. Like, like in the comics and stuff like that, they can play around with things like that more because they've been around a lot longer. The MCU, I would think you'd want to be a little bit more careful because for one, like I said, that hadn't been around as long. But for two, with that, your audience hadn't been around as long, and they're just kind of finally now getting comfortable with the characters that you've got, over the last few years. If it were me, I wouldn't want to screw around with that too much.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is who Captain America is. This is who, Captain
Yeah.
America, of course, is a comic that's been running since what, World War II?
Yep.
Or after World War II. So yeah, you can
No.
change him out a little bit.
Marvel
'Cause-
Comics had Captain America punching Hitler in the face before America had even joined the war.
Right. So, yeah, you can change who plays Captain America now because in the comic universe, it makes a little bit more sense. That comic's been running for, 70 years, 80 years, something like that. So sure, that makes sense. He'd be way too old to do it now. So,
Well,
but
you got that whole Frozen thing.
that's true. But, you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say if you're going to do some things, you don't have to use them all the time. Like, you don't have to do, after Infinity War, you don't have to do the next Avengers movie doesn't have to have Captain America in it. You don't have to have someone using the shield. Because you could have a completely different group of characters as the forming of the Avengers. Or, like I've said, I would even say for the Phase 4, I would even scatter the Avengers entirely, and if you could get them back, found it with the Fantastic Four and focus on Phase 4 being solo films again.
Yeah.
And then basically be more of a bringing all these solo characters together for a big threat rather than all these characters already being on a team working together.
Right.
Which is kind of more like what the original build up in Phase 1 was.
Right. And now they're all just together all the time, which is a little much, but they even make cameos in each other's movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I get that. I could agree with that since it would be Phase 4. So it's a little ways down the road. That would give people time.
Yeah, we got like 5 years before that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that would definitely give people time. Plus, with everything that's going to happen in Civil War, which of course we don't really know, but yeah, it's going to be a big deal. And
yeah, and on top of that, 5 years is a long time in someone's life. For all you know, that between now and then, Chris Evans could get married and have twins and just kind of be like, yeah, I'm gonna pull away from acting because I don't want to travel all the time.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, anything could happen. So there is a long time before Infinity War.
It's true. So anyway, that was just a little bit that I had read. Kind of in film news. I don't know if we want to move on to this, but I'm going to Star Wars toys.
Yeah, the
released for the new film.
Force Friday last Friday.
Exactly, and I saw some video. I was watching a video on Nerdist.com. Got to give credit where credit is due. Showing some of the toys and some of the ones that have like voice recording clips from, I guess, lines from the film. And so, they were speculating on a few different things that could mean, or what that could mean for the film, which is all speculation. Of course, but it was kind of interesting to see. I'm most excited about BB-8 with the one that you can control with an app, because that thing looks freaking amazing. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. I would play with that for hours. The only problem is it's $150, and I'm sure it's impossible to get right now.
Probably is. Even the $80 one, that's a Target exclusive. That is just it's larger. And it's just remote controlled. It doesn't have the app and all that. Apparently that one is sold out and impossible to find.
Yeah. So,
but I might have gotten one.
Huh?
I might have gotten one and put it on eBay.
Shut it.
I went to Target on lunch last Friday. A coworker wanted to go. He was actually interested in the X-Wing board game. Apparently they have a new release with some new figurines for the board game from the new show, or the new film, and so we went there to look at that, and there was one BB-8 left, and I was like, I wonder if this thing's like just going insane on eBay. And so I took a look, and I was like, well, it is selling for a pretty decent amount more. So all right, I grabbed the last one, and I mean, I just have it. there are so many on eBay, like $150 buy it now, but I just put it up at retail price. Anytime I buy something in a store and think it might be worth more, if I'm going to do that, buy it and put it on eBay, I'm going to put it at or below retail and just let people take
Bid
it
it up.
higher if they want to. Yeah.
Right.
I'll let the market increase it, because at the same time, it's like a lot of people are like, oh, but you took it away from someone. Well, yeah, but I may be offering it to someone who doesn't have a target in their area too.
Right.
So that's how I justify my profiteering.
Well, I mean, there were a few lines that they were talking about too. Like I said, there was a line. There were a couple of lines that using. I'm sorry, give me just a second. The video I was watching just got really loud. Of the BB-8, there were some lines that were using the Stormtrooper designation number, or the for the character. What is the character's name? Holy mackerel!
I don't know.
Finn?
I've not been
Yeah,
following
Finn.
any news.
Oh, spoiler alert. Anyway, Finn, which is one of the characters, they were using his Stormtrooper designation, which starts with FN, which leads to speculation that maybe Finn is not, in fact, his name, but, pronounced Finn just because of the... Anyway.
Is he the
Black Stormtrooper?
Okay, the one that everyone flipped out about? Well,
Yeah.
is there anything else after his designation, like FN,
They're numbers.
blah, blah, blah?
Yeah, they're numbers. I can't remember what they were, but...
So what you're telling me is his Stormtrooper designation is FN number da-da-da-da-da. FN 623.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
it could possibly be that. And then there was...
Maybe he's a screw-up, and it's not actually a designation. That's just what his commander decided to call
him. That's possible.
FN 623, get over here.
That's right. So
it goes from being a stormtrooper screw up to a Jedi.
But it was an interesting. That was an interesting video on Nerdist.com. You want to check it out? I don't know. I can't recall. Are you avoiding spoilers, or you
absolutely? I'm not watching anything. I don't want to go into seeing anything. I mean, this basically you've already told me, like, the answer to one of my speculative questions.
Which one?
From the first trailer, when everyone was freaking out because, like, oh my gosh, there's a black stormtrooper. I was like, we don't even know if he's a stormtrooper. I mean, Luke was a little short for a stormtrooper, but hey, look, it turns out he was just wearing stormtrooper armor. So for all we know, he might be on the side of the I can't remember what they're called now, the rebellion, basically, whatever their new name is. Yeah. He might be on their side, and the scene we saw is he's just wearing stormtrooper armor, similar to episode 4, but now apparently he is a stormtrooper.
Yeah. So
thanks a lot, man.
It's one of those things. Spoiler alert. Really, you should know anytime we get together, there's going to be spoilers somewhere. So.
And since you're not physically here, I can't slap you.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it myself. So.
That's right.
That's all I got for movies. I mean,
all right.
Like I said, that last one's not really movies. It's just me wishing I had
toys.
Toys, yeah. They also, actually, real quick.
Everyone's going
nuts. There are rumors that they're going to be coming out with some of the big Lego ships again. So, Super Star Destroyer, Christmas is coming up, if anybody wants to get me that.
Have you seen the YouTube video where someone built a, like, absolutely ridiculously retarded, stupid size Star Destroyer replica? Like,
how stupid size are we talking?
Something like 1/100th scale, like, or not actually 1/100th, but I mean it's like 8 feet long and all this stuff. And they built this whole thing, and then they did it for one purpose. They put a hook onto its tail end, lifted it up in the air, and then let it go and filmed it. Basically, that scene where the Super Star Destroyer crashes into the Death Star, and they film it in Lego in slow motion. So you see, they even like have a point where they pause it and zoom in, and you see one of the little Lego guys come flying out of it.
I'm not. I'll have to check that out. Well, I know that the official Super Star Destroyer was over 4 feet long.
Yeah,
like the official Lego Super Star Destroyer is one of the largest Lego kits ever made, and it's impossible to find without spending like $700 on it at this point. So
Boom! I think I found it. You can check that out later.
I definitely will. From that description, I can't not.
Shattered at 1,000 FPS.
That's funny. Just
So-
looking at eBay, it's a 12. There's one on eBay for $1,200 if you.
If I really love you for Christmas.
Yeah. Let me see. Let's see.
I've
Amazon's
got bad news,
them.
buddy.
Woo! The one on Amazon's it's only 1,050. That's a little discount for you.
Looky there. Oh, it's just practically affordable.
I know. So yeah, no. Hopefully, it would be really nice if they did come out with some of the original trilogy stuff, specifically that one. If anybody that knows anybody that's involved with Lego, or ever has been involved with Lego, is hearing this podcast, let them know. Seriously,
word
Super
out.
Star Destroyers really need to happen again because they're ridiculous. I mean, even though honestly, the original kit I think was around $300, like retail.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not cheap by any means,
Still
but
better than 1,000.
yeah, for sure. So I don't know. I had just heard that rumor.
If you had one and built it, though, where would you put a 4-foot-long?
I would find a
Star
fucking
Destroyer?
place to put it. I would find a place. I would sleep with it every night.
Okay, well,
It'd be very pointy and painful, but it would be worth it.
Brian has a waifu. It's a Super Star Destroyer.
It comes with a stand, so you just got to find the counter space. And I've got a bar at my apartment that's like at least 4 feet long. So you'd walk into my house and be like, "Hey, there's that thing you were talking about."
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, anywho, what do we got next? What's next?
Video games.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, let's talk about video games. It's kind of in the title of this podcast.
It's true.
What do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about a video game, or do you want to talk about the video games I found this weekend?
Ooh, I don't have a whole lot going on video games wise because my school started back this past Monday. So let's see. Just to give you an idea of what the most recent stuff that I've played was The Last of Us, the PlayStation 4 re-release, the remaster or whatever. I played the DLC, Left Behind. That was really good, and it made me start playing the original game again after playing that. It's like, oh, now I remember why I liked that game so much. I started playing that again. And then this little game on 3DS, Etrian Odyssey Untold. It's a re-release of the original game, apparently, where they actually added like a story. I guess the original game did not have much by way of a plot. It's kind of fun. You go down. It's a dungeon. You go down to a dungeon. You kill things, and you discover treasures and whatnot. And it gives you little quests and stuff like that. But it's kind of cool because you like draw your own map as you're exploring the dungeon, and it's first person's perspective. So, it's fun. It's something I play for an hour every once in a while, and it's a different spin on I guess RPGs somewhat. It's Atlas. It's one of the most normal Atlas RPGs I've ever played.
Oh, what was?
And I'm kind of okay with that.
I saw a game today. It was from Atlas. And what was it? Is it Kataria? Hold on, give me a second here. I'm trying to find it.
I don't know. The main thing that I think they're known for is like the Shin Megami Tensei and the Persona series, which Persona I believe is part of the Shin Megami Tensei overall series.
It's an offshoot, I think.
Yeah, I can't play any of those.
So I saw a game today at Game Exchange, and you can look it up. Just look up the go to Google Images. Look up Kartia, Kartia, the World of Fate, or the Word of Fate, and take a look at the cover and tell me what character that looks like to you.
Hold on, I'm getting there. Oh, that's I can't remember if it was 6. 6. It's the main female character. I can't.
Yeah, that totally looks like Tara from 6, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I saw that on the cover and I was like, Amano kind of mailed that one in, didn't he?
Oh, is that actually Amano? Okay.
I think it is. It definitely looks like his art style.
Yeah, it is. I'm pulling up the Wikipedia page. Artist Yoshitaka Amano. Yeah, no, he did. He totally did.
I didn't end up buying it, but man, I was tempted to. But it was Yeah. So
I generally speaking, I skip Atlas RPGs just because they're
well, and this one's a
the
strategy
skill or
RPG.
okay, but the difficulty level on those is generally ramped up, and the plot
Hmm.
and characters are not all that great. I'm like, I'll skip it. It's kind of like, um, yeah, like the Monster Hunter series. I'm just like,
Hmm.
there's really nothing to keep me interested. After a while, it's just like, all right, I've killed these dinosaurs or dragons. Let's be honest, that's what they are.
Hmm.
Um, I've killed several of these. Now I can beat the next one, and I just get bored.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Just kind of more of the same. More of the same. More of the same.
pretty much. So that's I guess why Etrian Odyssey is kind of good or different because it actually has a plot and some characters. There's a little bit of mystery going on, but I don't know. I like the gameplay too. It's first person perspective for the dungeon and as well as the battles. So they're kind of like the old Dragon Quest games in that way.
Yeah.
You don't see the player characters. You just see the enemies. So I don't know. It's fun. Anyway, there's more newer games available to talk about.
Yeah.
So
Some little game came out this week.
little game, smaller
Some
project.
yeah.
It's a
Some
indie studio.
yeah. Might as well be little bitty Phantom Pain there.
Yeah, yeah. I've had some of that.
Really? You had a limb cut off?
I did not have a limb cut off, but I had a phantom stab me one time.
Oh
It's
wow.
terrible.
Wow.
That's what they're talking about, right?
No.
No,
No. No, so yeah, Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain came
it
out.
was it was
That's the
it was a
big
Halloween party. Anyway, go on.
that's the big rage right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you're going to hear about for a few weeks, and I'm okay with that because I've played all four of the earlier Metal Gear Solid games. So
Did you play Peace Walker?
was that the
Originally on PSP, but they did release it on PS3 as an HD collection.
no? I played the first Metal Gear Solid again with that collection, and I played part of the second one, and then something new and shiny came along and distracted me. But
Gotcha.
should I before playing five? Because don't they kind of tie in a little bit?
So yeah, 5 is basically Metal Gear Solid 3 is Big Boss during the Cold War,
Right.
and then Peace Walker is afterwards, and then Metal Gear Solid 5 is essentially it's 9 years later, but it is well actually Metal Gear Solid 5, then Ground Zeroes is the prequel or the prologue into 5. But yeah, basically, Ground Zeroes takes place not long after Peace Walker, and then 9 years later, but immediately following the events of Ground Zeroes is Metal Gear Solid 5. So
Oh, okay.
really, 3, Peace Walker, and Ground Zeroes. If you haven't played those, you might be a little lost. At the very least, I would suggest watching a YouTube recap of the story or reading up on it on Wikipedia.
Okay. Well, I've got the game. I could play it. I'm not in the market to buy any new games in the near future because, like I said, school does just start back for me. And I pretty much during the school year try not to spend any money on video games if it can be avoided. I am going to buy Fallout 4 because I've already pre-ordered the Pip-Boy version, and I'm definitely not going to cancel that pre-order. But other than that, between now and Christmas, I
Yeah,
don't expect I'll be doing a whole lot of gaming.
I would advise you not cancel that on the investment concept alone.
Yeah, right. But just sent you a little something you might be interested. You can look at it later. But
Yeah, I saw that. It's but apparently it's not really any different. It's not like it's an HD or any changes or anything. So
yeah, that's kind of weird.
it's just directly
So
as. So I
for
already
those
have
of
it.
you that are listening and have no clue what we're talking about, Deadpool is moving to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, but no super changes. So if you have it on 360 and PS3, then there's really no reason to get it on 4.
It says it'll have all the additional DLC, but wasn't that all just like costumes and stuff? There wasn't any
Yeah, I think there
gameplay
may have been a
DLC
few
really.
short gameplay things, but not like story
Nothing that I
wise or
knew
anything
about.
like that. So
Yeah, I don't know. It was a fun game. I agree. I'm not gonna buy it again, but it was a fun
yeah,
game.
yeah. So I have been playing Metal Gear Solid 5.
Mhm.
Um, I've gotten. It's kind of hard to say like how far you are because you kind of start to forget. Okay, I don't remember really what episode I'm on anymore because basically you've got multiple missions, but there's no real indicator of these missions are in the first episode. This mission is the second. This is the third. Other than when you play it, then it says episode whatever.
Right, but
And
that's
you can go
it doesn't
back
give
and
like of how many or whatever, right?
no, and you can go back and you can replay a mission like any time as often as you want. And there's actually like optional objectives to missions.
Oh, that's kind of
And
cool.
so like one of the missions I had was if you look at the optional objectives, there's basically the first time you go through it, it's basically eliminate a target or basically get the target. There's a different version of kill him from a distance, and then there's another version of extract him, so you capture him. So it's like, okay, well, there's unless you know in advance to kill him from a distance, which I don't think you can even access the sniper rifle at that point.
Yeah.
Then basically there's like you have to finish the mission in 3 different ways. So
Okay.
there's reason to go back and replay them and do it from that perspective, other than just I'm going to beat it with an A rank instead of there's actually some other stuff to it. And then completing the different objectives, you get different currencies, so you can actually upgrade the base and different stuff, upgrade your weapons and things like that. So
That's cool.
I did. A friend of mine's further along, but I was going along trying to do an optional objective, and so I had done nothing but the first mission, and I was replaying the first mission, and I was like, I'm gonna go do this optional objective on the side here, and I'm riding along on the horse, and then boom, here comes this little dog barking at me, and I was like, I'm not out of the first mission, and I've already found the puppy. This is awesome. So I've already got the dog back at base, and apparently, like eventually, it grows up during the game, and so you can take you basically choose your companion. You either take the dog or a horse with you.
Nice.
So you actually get the animal buddy to actually do things. I don't know what all the dog does for you, but obviously the horse is faster transportation.
So the dog,
And
what the dog does for you is he is very bad at stealth, and he reveals your location frequently. Kidding.
it's quite possible. I don't know.
That dog, terrible at this game.
It's actually possible because I was in a base and I hit the wrong button. I was trying to do the one where basically you knock, or in his case, he like clacks his robotic hand to draw attention to him. I hit the wrong one and summoned the horse into the base. And so, like after a little bit, some guards like the alert goes up because they're just like, "There's a horse randomly in the base."
Wait, just a horse.
I was just kind of like, "Uh-oh, this is supposed to happen," and that's when the gunfight started.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That would have been fun to watch, actually, I think.
Yeah, I should have done the PS4 share on that one.
Button, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Oh crap! A horse.
Oh,
It's
yes.
a horse, of course. Well, I'm going to play it eventually. It's just like I said, it's a long eventually.
Yeah.
Good about it. People like it.
So far, yeah, it is definitely from the little bit that I have played in through so far. I do like it. The only thing I kind of like, I found myself kind of missing a little bit, was because it is a little bit more sandboxy. It's, here's a list of missions, choose which mission to go do, and then while you're there, you can go do optional missions. You've got this huge map in Afghanistan. I know there's one in Africa later, so I'm sure there's jungle locations. And so it's a little sandboxy, and so there's a little part of me, like at one point while I was playing, I was like, I'm kind of missing the cinematic style of the previous games. There's less cinematic story aspects. So, and then the other thing that sucks is because I fully intended to buy the collector's edition when this one came out, but it sold out so fast. Like it was sold out before I even knew about it going on sale. You eating something?
No. Yes.
What are you eating?
Popcorn. Sorry.
Why aren't you sharing? You're fired.
Okay.
So anyway,
you're not paying me.
The collector's edition went on. I've just wondered. Collector's edition went on sale before it was sold out before I even realized that it was on sale. And at first I was looking at it and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to have the little like miniature replica of Boss's mechanical hand. And so I was like, I'm gonna watch it. I might try and get it aftermarket if it's not ridiculously priced.
Right.
And then I started thinking about it and I was like, you know what? A steel case, like a steel case in the hand, and then the behind the scenes DVD, It's not that important to me. I'm going to let this one go.
Yeah.
Then an article comes out on Kotaku.
Uh-oh.
The behind the scenes DVD actually has the storyboard, an overview, and some voice acted lines of a mission that was left out
Oh,
that is apparently extremely crucial to the storyline
you bastards.
that takes place after the end of the game and got cut because Konami was basically pissed at Kojima already going so much over his ballooning budget. And it's like, okay, so basically you're telling me that you had the quintessential purpose of what DLC is made for.
Right.
And instead, because your squabbling piss match with Kojima was already underway, it got completely cut and will never be released. And
Nice.
like apparently from what the article is saying, I didn't read it because there are spoilers in there, and I was like, okay, I don't want to know spoilers for the game.
Mhm.
But I was like, apparently it sounds like this mission legitimately is crucial in explaining the whole conclusion of Metal Gear Solid 5 and that transition into what becomes the Metal Gear Solid that we know for like Snake and all that sort of stuff. And I was just kind of like, if that mission explains how he gets the shard of metal out of his head, I want to know that.
Right.
So now I'm back to eBay, like watching auctions and saying, okay, what's my comfort level that I'm willing to pay to get this dang thing?
Right.
And
No.
I saw one earlier today that I was like, damn it, I should have bought that. I should have bid a little bit more than I did because after shipping, it was $71 for the collector's edition. It was basically everything in the collector's edition except for the game and the DLC.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah.
basically, I saw one on here that's like the seller. It says they've got it. They have 5 available. 24 have sold. So I'm
Mhm.
like, this person bought 30 collector's editions, and they're selling them, and it's just what they're selling is no game, no DLC, just the box and the items that came with it, just all the bonus stuff.
Why would you keep 30 games? What are you going to do with those?
I don't know. I'm confused as well. But overall, the with no game, everything else, it sold for like $71, and so I've been sitting here kind of thinking that's not that bad because that's only like going if you can keep in the $20 to $30 over what it was originally at retail, I feel like that's not horrible.
How much was the collector's edition?
99.
Oh, okay.
So I figure if you get it for 71 and you've already bought the game, then 71 plus 60,
Yeah.
that's 130. The game would $99 would be 110 after tax anyway. So I'm like, it's not that bad. But
Yeah.
I didn't win that one, so I'm just kind of eyeballing some other ones. I've also been kind of looking at it. There's a few people that have like piecemeal, and I was kind of adding up. What's it cost to buy these buy it now? I'll buy the DVD. I'll buy the hand. I'll buy the box. I'll buy the steelbook. Okay, now I've got the whole collector's edition. Yay!
Probably expensive.
Actually, it's not horrible, but if you just follow auctions, you could probably get them piecemeal better. It also
Yeah.
looks like it also looks like for some reason the Xbox One version of the collector's edition is generally selling for less than the PS4, and there's no difference between the two of them other than the cardboard packaging that goes around it that you're going to take off anyway.
Right.
So there's a part of me been kind of thinking about, well, just grab that version without the game, and
That might work. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
yeah. Well,
Anyway.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It's like there's that and a couple other things I'm eyeballing on eBay, and I'm kind of like, well, I've kind of spent enough money recently. Money
No,
I've
I feel
recently money I've recently spent is more of an investment at the moment because I found some video game deals this weekend, my
some
friend.
video games.
I found some video game deals.
Video games. Go on.
So I went last Thursday, or no, Friday. I went into to Half Price Books.
Oh, I love half price books. I just spent $100 there myself.
You tipped me off that they're 20%
sale.
off.
You're right.
20% off for Labor Day.
Yep.
So I went in there, was looking around, and I found a few games at the one near where I work, and it was they had a bunch of stuff for $1 a piece, like back in their clearance section. So I bought a couple games for $1 each. I bought a DVD of Sonic Underground. I never watched that when it was on, but I was like, it's $1. I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, why not?
I bought a DVD for $1 of the Super Mario Super Show.
Wow.
Yeah.
It goes back.
Yeah, and then I got 2 books. I got the Guinness World Records Gamers Edition for 2012 and 2013 for $1 a piece as well.
All right.
So that was kind
Some
of what.
bargain shopping there.
Yeah, so that kind of kicked everything off. That started things rolling.
Oh.
So then on Saturday, I've been looking because I'm planning a game room. I'm planning on. I don't know if we've talked about it on here, but you've seen my office. My home office is basically a nerd cave rather than
It's
a
true.
man cave. And I've been thinking, what's better than a nerd cave? 2 nerd caves. Plus, on top of that, the current nerd cave office is in the master bedroom. And if I ever did get married, there's a good chance the wife would say, "Get this crap out of here."
Right.
So I'm already kind of thinking, okay,
You
what
would say, no, you sleep in the shed with the dog, woman. What's wrong with
are
you?
you talking about? The dog sleeps inside.
Oh, you sleep in the shed. The dog sleeps
His dog sleeps inside, woman.
That's right.
No,
There's a fan out there.
no.
Anyway.
Actually, let's be honest. You always talk about meeting the right woman. So in this case, the right woman would be. So this is your nerd cave, huh? It's okay, I guess. What do you mean it's okay? Well, I
Need some
mean,
upgrades.
you could use a few more things on the shelves. I mean, they're kind of bare. I've got a girl that's making me feel bad that I don't have enough nerd things. That's the right woman right there.
That's right.
But anyway, I'm working on. I'm starting to do the planning for a game room to do a full on game room, and I think I've actually got it here. That's actually what I was working on earlier today. Was kind of figuring out what I need to make what I want happen. And it looks like I've got to save up. If I just went and said, boom, we're doing it all at once, just one swoop, I only need about $3,500.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's all. It's not really that much. To be fair, though, let me put this out there. To be fair, about 1,500 of that is assuming that I would get a 65-inch new television for the living room because the current TV would move into the game room.
Okay.
And so if we're being more realistic, you could do it in bits and have like everything in the game room set up except for the new TV being moved and all that sort of stuff, which would take us down to like, $2,000 for all the shelving. And that includes some glass doors. I don't know if I want to put on shelves or not. I haven't decided if I'd like the way that looks. All that said, I've been looking at some statues and stuff that I was wanting to put on the shelves in this game room.
Okay.
And I come across this, it's a mini bust of Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider reboot.
Oh, I was hoping it was from the PlayStation 1 era. Cause
there is an actual statue of that. I'm tempted to get it to have them side by side.
You could probably kill somebody with that one.
Well, it's not from the original first. It's from I think Tomb Raider 3 when she actually her artwork did have curves.
Okay.
Not necessarily her graphics, but her artwork did.
Okay, that's better.
Anyway. I've got a cat situation here, and by cat situation I mean we've got a hairball about to happen.
Live.
And see if I can catch it on something.
I was actually speaking of cats. I have one. No, I went to the cat cafe in the Dallas area. I don't know if we should say where that is. Well, you said that you went to one of the cons or something, so I'm sure that people that don't know us might have figured out that we're in the giant metroplex that is Dallas-Fort Worth. Went to the cat cafe and I just... What?
For all those stalkers you're going to get now.
Yeah, I know. I can't do it. But fell in love with a cat. Unfortunately, I've got a cat. It's not unfortunate that I have a cat. It's unfortunate that she doesn't get along with other cats. So, I sponsored that one for adoption, and so hopefully she'll get adopted soon. But I can't ever go back, though, because I fall in love too easy when it comes to cats and dogs and stuff like that. It was like a constant battle when I worked for animal control, not to bring something home every other day. So, but you should go check it out if you want to.
Oh, I'll keep it in mind.
It's Saturdays from 11 to 4, and it's pretty small because it's run by like a local cat goods store. Plus, it's to benefit like a local rescue, and rescues don't have money
Yeah.
Honestly, they do good just to make ends meet a lot of times. So,
Yeah.
but let's see. You can go in
Yeah.
and pet several cats that are not your own for however long you want.
And then get mobbed when you get home by your own pets. They're like,
Pretty much, yeah.
"Who have you
Well,
been? Who have you been petting?"
I was very careful because there was a cat that was in there that was FIV positive, and gasp, I don't. My cat isn't current on that particular vaccination since she's an indoor only cat, so she's not really exposed to anything like that, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very careful to like wash up really good. I even bleached the bottom of my shoes just to be safe. I'm like, we're not playing that. So,
All right.
you know.
So back to back to my story.
Sorry.
Now that we've avoided catastrophe over here. So I've been looking. There's the Tomb Raider bust, and I was looking at it. I found one on eBay. Checked out, sorted the auctions by cheapest. Looked at the lowest price, and it was delivered. It was being offered by Hastings,
Mhm.
and so I was like,
They still exist?
"Yeah, they do. They do still exist." And so I was looking at it, and I was like, "All right, well, it shows that there's low stock in the one in Waxahachie." So
Waxahachie, that still exists?
yeah, the city still stands.
Oh, okay.
And so I basically was like, all right, well, get in touch with my folks, see if they want to meet for dinner, set all that up. I'm just gonna go see if I can pick it up there. The day of going down there, I check. It shows out of stock.
Oh.
But I've already made dinner plans, so I'm like, I'm gonna go by there anyway. Because how often do you go and you say there's only one in stock and there's none? So maybe this time it'd be reversed. It says they're out of stock, but there's still one left.
Sure.
So I go down there, and the first thing I do is, okay, I'm gonna go take a look at their video games. And in the Super Nintendo area, they've got an area with some used Super Nintendo games. And at first, I'm looking at them like, all right, well, their prices aren't horrible. They're about $3 or $4 under what they normally sell for on eBay. And then so I keep looking around, and then I see a sign that says all used games Labor Day weekend are 30% off.
Uh-oh.
So I picked up Breath of Fire.
All right. I've got that one.
Super Bomberman 2.
Okay.
Super Mario All-Stars. Link to the Past.
All right.
Pilot Wings.
I don't think I've ever played that one.
I haven't either, but it's part of the list that I made of the top 100 SNES games. So that's one. Now the other four, Super Bomberman 2, it's not one that was on my list, and the other three I already own. So I just bought them to flip later. Actually, I'm going to take them to the convention at the end of this month and see if I can use them as trade opportunities.
Wait. Let me go back just a second. You didn't have Legend of Zelda?
No, I have all four of them.
Oh.
I've got Link to the Past. I have Mario All-Stars. I have Breath of Fire.
I'm sorry.
So all four of those are just going to be basically, okay, I bought them for less than they're considered worth. Yeah. I'll take them to the convention and see if I can trade them for things that I'm actually wanting to get.
Okay. Sorry.
So then on top of that, I got Sword of Vermilion on Sega Genesis, complete in the case for like $5 or $6 before the discount. Street Fighter 2 on Sega Genesis. It's only missing the manual, but it's got the case.
All right.
Judge Dredd on Sega Genesis. And Road Rash 3 on Sega Genesis. Road Rash 3 was
those freaking games.
Road Rash 3 was $13, and it's complete and considered worth about $35.
I was gonna say they're kind of hard to find,
especially complete in the box. And next year, I'm expecting Sega Genesis games to spike in price because Console Wars is supposed to come out. I think Seth Rogen is producing it. Take that as you will. But Console Wars is it's actually a really good book. It's about the Sega versus Nintendo battle in the 90s, and it's told from Sega's point of view.
Oh, wow.
So, and the book's actually, I'm not through with it. I'm about a quarter into it, and it's really good. And then the top find at Hastings in this gathering of old games was Michael Jackson's Moonwalker on Sega Genesis. Now, this one's not in the box. It's just the cartridge alone. but it was like I want to say it was maybe $20, and then I got 30% off. So you got $6 off of that. So I paid 14. Just the cartridge by itself is worth $43.
Oh wow.
And they said that like it was one guy. He just came in and like basically traded in his entire like all these games, just one guy. And so I snagged all of those. Basically, I spent about $100, and the total value of them for what they had them priced at, like
Mm-hmm.
like their labels in the store was about $205, and with the 30% off, it came down to my entire purchase was about 100.
Nice.
They're worth over 200, so I'll definitely be able to get some pretty good trades with them, and hopefully make some swaps with other people.
Okay.
And then at the end of it, I did ask an employee. I was like, how accurate is the website? Is it possible this Tomb Raider figure is somewhere around here? And he looked at it and said, we pulled it for a shipment. It's still in the back. Let me go see what we're doing with it. And the person he was trying to ask about, he kept going back there multiple times, and they were basically doing an interview. Finally, he just said, you know what, you've been patient. And he made the executive decision and let me take it.
Nice.
So I wound up getting the thing I was going for.
Nice.
Then I went, had dinner with my folks, and then headed back to swung by Game Exchange there in Waxahachie as well. And I don't know if you've been in a Game Exchange, or if you have. I don't know if you've been in there forever.
I don't think there might be one in Irving. I don't know.
There may be one up there. I'm not sure where they're. I mean, there's a few in the area. I know there's one in like West Fort Worth, up in Denton. Essentially, it's like an equal distance in every direction except for in our area. But everything, all their games, $7.95 and under, are buy two get one free.
Okay.
And so I got a Dreamcast game. It's an RPG called Silver for, I think it was $7.95, and that one's worth about $35.
Nice.
I got a Ready to Rumble Boxing for the same, which is also worth more than what they had it priced at. And then I picked up F-Zero, which is another one that I got that as one of my buy two get one free. So I was like, all right, it's another trade one because I've already got it. It's worth a little more than what they had it priced at. And then I got Star Wars Racers and a game called Makin' X, which is a first-person fighting game sort of thing on Dreamcast that someone I know in a group has already asked me about. So he and I are going to work out a trade on that. And I grabbed Borderlands 2 and Crysis 2 for PS3, even though my PS3 is not working. And Star Wars Masters of Terrascasi on PlayStation, if you remember that game.
Oh yeah, I do. You didn't hear the groan initially when you said it?
Yeah,
I remember.
Not the best. Not the best.
No, it was not.
So I got all those, and then I remembered they were also doing the 20% off sale again. I remembered it Half Price Books. I went up and checked up in the HEB area.
Mm-hmm.
I went to one there, and I went last week just to look and see, is like, what do they have in preparation for this sale that's coming up? Is there anything I care about? Sure. And went back up there. I wound up getting a PSP for $50, complete in the box.
That's all right.
Then I got Final Fantasy 12 guide, which I'm actually going to take back because I snagged it just so I could compare it to the one I've got.
Was it hardcover or?
Yeah, hardcover.
How much do you want for that?
I bought it for 10.
10 it is.
I shall set it back for you, sir.
All right, cool. Because I got one that's like the paperback version or whatever, but it's overused.
Gotcha.
So it's missing some pages.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, sure. I'll set it back. So I picked up basically the Final Fantasy 12. I got Kingdom Hearts strategy guide and that PSP. So that was pretty good. And then I actually, when I was down at Game Exchange in Waxahachie, I picked up Final Fantasy 2 and or Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on the PSP. Got back up here and realized. Do what?
Like the collection or whatever. Yeah,
the 20th anniversary one. It's actually they're two separate cases. There was a 20th anniversary for 1 and 20th anniversary for 2, and then I got Crisis Core again because buy 2 get 1 free. I was like, that'll probably sell.
Yeah.
But 1 and 2, once I got back, I realized I already had them on PSP. So I took them back over to the one over in West Fort Worth today and got a few more games on that. I got some GameCube games, Batman Vengeance, Shadow the Hedgehog, and something else. I almost got .hack mutation, but it was missing the bonus anime DVD that comes with it.
Oh,
And even though I don't really care that much about having the DVD, I kind of want it for the game to be complete.
right.
So I was like, I can wait. I'll pass on it.
Well, GameCube. I'm trying to think. There were a few good games on GameCube, not the two that you mentioned, but
Yeah. And I don't even know that much about the Shadow the Hedgehog game. I'm still looking.
oh,
I
it was
am.
bad.
Is it
was bad.
really?
Yeah. That's every review that I've ever read, and even when it came out and since, have been like, why? Why did you do this?
Now I feel like I do need to play it at some point.
Hedgehog. I can't type, but yeah, apparently it did not review well. It just was not a great game. It's the one where he's got a gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the bad guy.
Yeah. So,
Because why not?
well, it says mixed reviews from critics, 53%, 52, 49 on here on the Wikipedia page is what it's saying, but still, that's not great.
Not great. Yeah, I do want to pick up the Sonic Adventure Director's Cut for GameCube. I have Sonic Adventure on Dreamcast. I'm looking for Sonic Adventure 2. So I need to get 2 on Dreamcast and then the Director's Cut on GameCube for that. But Sonic is kind of one of those. I like the character, and so I give him a lot of leeway on his bad games.
I never could get into the 3D ones, like that behind the back camera when you're going at the rate of speed that he's supposed to be going at. Just I couldn't control it well enough.
Sonic Adventure is the only one I've played that I particularly liked that used that behind 3D.
Yeah, I just couldn't.
The rest of them have not been. Just no.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, that was the only one that I played. I think I was just like, I don't like this control scheme, so I just didn't play anymore after that because I didn't like how it played. So why would I?
Yeah. I'm thinking that I may have to start hitting up the PlayStation 3. Actually, I may have to make that my next my target because I'm actually closest to finishing the collection or the planned collection for PS3 than any other system.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you, sir. Number wise, I'm pretty low on the Nintendo Wii. Wii doesn't have as many games anyway.
Yeah.
But number wise, I'm extremely close on like Sega Saturn, Sega CD, because those didn't have very many, but they're expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like Sega CD, I'm only looking for 29 games, but it's like $1,500.
Nice. Except for no, because you're buying it. No,
Sega Saturn, I'm looking for 36 games on Sega Saturn, and they come out to $2,273.
Nice.
So these are very much areas of. Hopefully, I can find that garage sale where the person doesn't know what they're selling.
Yeah.
Or I keep finding things like I mentioned a few weeks ago when I found the box where the guy was like, you can have the whole box for $20. He was just trying to get it out of the pawn shop.
Yeah.
And it came out to like it's $400 worth of games. So
nice.
Yeah,
I need to go shopping with you sometime in some of these places because, geez.
Yeah, well, you never know where you're gonna find some of them too. The other thing I was actually looking at doing, I'd like to do it probably the year after next, just because there's no way I'll have the money for it next year. Because my estimate is probably ideally I'd like to have about $8,500 saved up for this, or plan on having $8,500 available. Either I'm willing to put this on the credit card / I have money saved up for it. But around the time that Comic-Con comes up, I'd like to try and get tickets into Comic-Con, which is near impossible anyway, but I'd like to try to do that. And then basically I was looking at planning it out and doing a road trip all the way out to California with stops in all these little towns on the way, like just hitting pawn shops and flea markets, and essentially make it a game-chasing road trip on the way to and from Comic-Con.
All right.
So
yeah.
I think that could be some wild and crazy fun.
Yeah. Definitely. I want to go. Oh, no. I don't have that kind of money. Never mind.
Well,
thanks for the invite.
you don't need that kind of money, because I am putting aside. I'm assuming $5,750 is what I was planning on putting back for Comic-Con, game hunting, and just unexpected expenses.
Oh, okay.
So when you slide it down from there, and my food, I put $650 for food, because I was basically
For how
thinking
long?
it would be about 13 days. I was doing basically a $50 per day, because I expect there's no way in hell I'd spend that much.
Yeah, I would hope not. Shit.
But I expect that at the same time, I'm like budget really high, because once you get into San Diego and you're at places, or you're going to hotels, and like you're doing stuff, and finally you're at the hotel, just like, screw it, I don't care, just give me freaking room service. Prices are going to get ridiculous. So I was like, okay, just let's say $50 a day as a per diem, and that's like food and potentially other little what's-its that you come across. So this is really a high budgeted expectation. My real expectation is, if I could save up the money, I'd have $8,500. I'd go on this vacation, I'd spend like $1,000, and then I'd have $7,500 left over afterwards, in which case I'd be like, all right, that's $7,500 towards the next trip that I want to go to in Japan.
Oh, well, yeah, then you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'd love to go. I think it'd be kind of interesting.
I fully intend to go before I'm 40. I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to go to NinjaFox Village. I'm going to hit. I'm going to see Akihabara. I'd like to go down to Okinawa, or go to Osaka.
I have a friend that's from Osaka.
I do too. She lives in Florida.
Is it a friend that I also know?
Natsuki?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have two friends from there.
There you go.
Apparently.
And then
is it Osaka or Okinawa? There's just different places. Never mind. My other friend is from Okinawa.
No. I'm wrong. Natsuki is from Tokyo. Tots is from Okinawa.
Apparently, like, their Japanese is different from other Japanese.
Yes, which is why in anime dubs they have them sound southern. So, yeah, I remember, because our friend Dustin was ragging on Tots, and like said something about Pearl Harbor. He's like, we haven't forgotten Pearl Harbor, Tots. And Tots' response was, that's not my people. I'm from Okinawa. That's Natsuki's people. So it's like, damn. And then he twisted that. He goes, "You're just gonna throw a woman under the bus like that, Tots? That's wrong. What's wrong with you? You are a sick son of a." And he's like, "No, I'm not."
Nice. I haven't seen any of them forever. Anywho,
Dustin's down in Austin, and Tots is back in Japan. Which actually, if I go to Japan, I need to touch base with him and see if he's got a couch.
Which is funny, because there's an army base there.
Open. Well, he's outside Tokyo.
Oh, is he outside Tokyo?
Yeah, he actually, I think for a little while he lived in Tokyo, but he's I think not far from outside Tokyo now. So
a third of the country is in Tokyo, really. So.
Yeah, and you can get to anywhere in an hour from Tokyo. So yeah, whenever I actually start planning this trip to Japan, I'm going to touch base with Tots and see if he's got an empty couch that I could use, and if he could escort me around a little bit.
Yeah.
Make sure I don't completely offend everybody.
Yeah, because if you got to be careful. If anime that I've been watching recently is any indication, apparently there's just like roaming gangs of teenage guys beating up old people and throwing rocks at cats while they're buried neck deep in the sand and shit. I'm like, good God, Japan, what is going on over there?
Insanity, madness.
Apparently. Also, manga that I was reading too was just like they're running a bunch of guys running around beating up old people. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you people? Good God. I thought you were supposed to respect your elders even more in Japan, not kick the crap out of them, unless that's how you show respect. In which case, you're even crazier than I thought you were.
Do you want to know why people in Japan live till such old ages? Because even when they're old, they get beat up. It keeps them tough.
That's right.
No, we just do this out of love. It keeps them tough.
That's right.
You see the old person just giving a thumbs up.
Ding.
That's right. Keeps you healthy.
That's right. So, yeah, there's Yakuza on every corner. You know what? On second thought, I don't want to go to Japan. It's a terrible place.
There's actually there's some truth to that. Apparently, if you go to the red light district and decide to hit the bars and such, apparently it is the safest place in all of Japan.
Really?
Oh yes, because if you get mugged, then whoever mugged you will have a visit from someone else who says you're not supposed to be doing that in our
This
area.
is our neighborhood. Yeah, I
Pretty
got you.
much. Yeah,
That's
there's a guy that did a presentation at Acon not long 2 years ago, I think, and he said like literally you can go down to the red light district, you can go into the bars, and you can walk completely stumbling drunk or crawl back to your hotel with diamond rings and gold watches with no fear of being mugged. It's
that's
just
funny.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
He said it is definitely the safest place you can go and not have any concern of crime. Now, if you're a business owner, on the other hand, totally different story because then you've got to pay protection.
Sure. Well, you're paying kind of a private police force from the sounds of it, so
In one sense, yeah, yeah.
it's
And
sad that that's what it takes.
oh, and it's crazy because, like, on top of that, whenever there's, and I've got a coworker who lived there for a while, and he's like, it's not exaggeration, it's legit. Whenever there's like an emergency or a disaster happens, the
Mhm.
yakuza will be out there like providing food, supplies, and water days before any official government response manages to mobilize.
That's
Like,
crazy.
they legit take care of their neighborhood,
Hmm.
but at the same time, they're running all kind of crime in
Organized
the
crime.
neighborhood. So
And then there's the whole crime thing. You're
yeah,
like,
these guys are great, except for the whole crime thing.
I wish that was the first time I'd heard that.
Yeah.
What else we got? Did I have anything else? I'm trying to remember. Looking. I got nothing.
I'm pretty much tapped out as well. I don't have anything else to go over.
All about the new Christopher Moore book, which I'm very excited about reading. I haven't gotten to it yet, but fun story about that nobody's going to care about by myself because it's a personal story. Well, kind of. I mean, it's interesting to understand the business practices of some companies, and that being said, this is my own personal opinion, so please don't sue me, and you'll find out why I said that in a minute. Christopher Moore is an author that I've been a fan of for quite some time. I owned most of his books and actually completed that collection a couple weeks ago when I went to or I guess it was last weekend when I went and spent $100 at Half Price Bookstore. There were like 4 or 5 more of his books
with
that I
your
had never
birthday with your birthday coupon.
birthday coupon. Yes, and so anyway, I'd read several of his books. He was an author. He's an author of Lamb, the Gospel According to Biff, Christ's Childhood Friend, which is one of his best known works. He's funny, he's witty, there's only one of his books that I've ever never or not been able to finish that I started, and it just wasn't great. So anyway, I'm a fan, to say the least. So in June 22nd, to give an exact date, I found out that he was coming out with a new book, which was actually a sequel to one of his other books. Because his books don't generally go together. Some of them take place in the same like city or the same area or whatever, but they're not necessarily sequels to one another.
Mm-hmm.
He changed that with his vampire books. There are actually 3 of those. He wrote a sequel to the first one because of because people wanted it basically, and then he finished it out with a third. And then his book Fool, which was based on the Fool in Shakespeare's King Lear, was really popular, so he wrote a sequel to that. But generally speaking, they're all pretty standalone, with some characters making their way into other books. They'll have like little cameos or whatever. But this was a direct sequel to one of the books that I really enjoyed, and I found out on June 22nd that it was coming out on August 25th, which was my birthday. And at the time I found that out, I went on his Facebook page, and he said that they're selling signed copies, signed first editions, which I was like, well, that's cool. I really like this author, and I don't have a signed first edition of anything. Not saying that necessarily is going to make this, worth any more money or anything. It's more of something to add to my own collection.
Right. It's something special for you.
Exactly. So on June 22nd, rather, I pre-ordered a signed first edition copy of the book with the expectation that it would be shipping out on the 25th of August when the book released. I purchased that, or I pre-ordered it. I didn't actually pay anything for it because don't pay until they ship it, apparently, but from Barnes & Noble. So August 25th, my birthday rolls around, which it was not a great birthday, but I survived it. And it was just really busy at work, just not a fun day overall, But that's what happens when you're an adult. And August 25th rolls, I know, right? August 25th rolls around, I don't hear anything. Early in the morning of August 26th, I get an email from Barnes & Noble saying that they're no longer in stock with this item in the warehouse, and it's been delayed for an indeterminate amount of time. If I haven't heard anything again, I should hear something back within 30 days, basically. At which point I was like, okay, you know what?
I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give them a few days. And if I don't hear anything, then at that point I'll call and speak with someone. And I gave them a few days. I called and spoke with somebody at customer service, and she basically told me the same thing, that they're out of stock in the warehouse, but as soon as they get more, that they'll be shipping it to me. Couldn't tell me why, what caused the delay or anything. And she was a call center person, and I've worked at call centers. I know that there's like a script you have to go by, but like she put me on hold for 2 minutes. She came back and had nothing to give me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
As far as why it was delayed, when it was going to go out, anything. And I said to her, I said, there's a concern here that I pre-ordered this 2 months in advance. And the reason I did that is because it's a signed first edition, which, I'm sure that there's a limited number of those. So that was, that's why I ordered it so early. What are the odds that there are going to be more of them? Because if you already shipped out all the ones that you had initially gotten, presumably to people that pre-ordered it like myself, chances are you're probably not getting it anymore. Well, I don't know. Basically, it was the answer that I got. So I started searching online, and I found a bookstore called Books Inc. in California, which is where Christopher Moore is from. That apparently does signed first editions of his books anytime he has a new one come out. So from this point forward, whenever he has a new book come out, I'm going to be buying a signed first edition from them. Purchased that, and they had it to me within 3 days.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I got it, but it is frustrating that Barnes & Noble had over 2 months and could never get it to me. I canceled my order with them, obviously, but with something like that, with the 2 month pre-order rather, you would think that they would have at least the number of copies like set aside or coming in to cover the pre-orders at the very minimum. Because like I said, Chris Moore, he's popular. I mean, he's been on some bestseller lists and stuff like that, but he's no, John Grisham or Stephen King or one of the big names that everybody knows. Most people that I talk to whenever I talk about one of his novels and stuff have never even heard of him unless I told them about him. He's not for everybody, and I get that. He's just not nearly as popular. So there couldn't have been that many pre-orders, you wouldn't think. I could be wrong on that, but Books Inc. is going to be getting a lot more of my business in the future.
There you go. You found a new place.
I did. I found a new place. They're, California. I have to order them and have them shipped, but I'd rather do it with a company like that. I think they have maybe 3 or 4 locations in California. If I can get stuff for the same price there as I can get it somewhere else, I'll go ahead and, buy it from them rather than the giant conglomeration or the giant corporation that is Amazon. Having worked there, I can tell you the work is not fun. So I'll send my money somewhere else.
That's right.
That's right. And Barnes & Noble has lost a customer who owned 3 different versions of the Nook tablet. Like they've gotten quite a bit of money from me over the years. So I know I'm just one guy, but yet that was very poorly handled. So sorry, boring story. That's all I got now.
And I got nothing else.
No?
Nothing else.
Sad day. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up then. I am Brian at Servo1999 on Twitter, which I'm never on.
And I am Jeff NinjaFox at Swift NinjaFox on Twitter, which I am on semi-regularly. I kind of go through spurts. I'll be off for a little while, and then I'll be on, just kind of checking around, looking at things. I often retweet funny animals, cute animals.
I'm so rarely on there that I get notifications on my phone that somebody else is following me, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah. Who are you, and why are you so bored?
You must be a bot of some sort.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah. Why? I haven't posted anything in like a month. Why are you following me? What? So anyway,
Who are these people and what's wrong with them?
you're so lonely.
That's right.
Anyway, thanks
Well,
for listening,
You
guy
have a
or
good
gal.
evening.
You do the same.
We'll see you next week, maybe, assuming we do this. We
No
should
promises.
be. Yeah, no promises. Ever. Ever. Good night.
Night. Push the button, Frank.
I did push the button. It says stopping, but it's not stopping. It wants us to keep going. There's no one listening. What are you doing, Hangouts?
Oh no.
This show has to go on forever.
No. Why, God? Why?
You've got nothing.
Oh, something happened. No, I'm still showing live over here.